Life's challenges can feel overwhelming, leaving us wondering if there's any hope beyond the pain. But what if the struggles you face are temporary? What if victory is closer than you think? In this video, we'll uncover the powerful truth about enduring hardship and finding purpose in suffering, inspired by the story of Job and the wisdom of faith. Through heart-wrenching trials and unwavering belief, you'll learn why your darkest moments are often the prelude to an incredible breakthrough. Watch to the end and discover how embracing this soon mentality could transform your life and lead you to a season of joy, healing, and divine favor. Don't miss the message that might change everything. Before we start, I'd appreciate your support. If you liked the video, please subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated on future lessons from God. In the book of 2 Corinthians, the Apostle Paul extends to us a shining beacon of hope, a lifeline to hold on to when the waves of life threaten to overwhelm us. He reminds us, with a wisdom that transcends time, that our current troubles are not permanent. They are fleeting, transient, mere blips on the vast and infinite radar of eternity. These trials, no matter how fierce and unrelenting they may seem right now, are momentary. They are not the end of the story. What lies ahead, beyond the horizon of our pain, is a joy so profound, so glorious, that it will eclipse all the suffering we've endured. This joy is not temporary like the fleeting highs of this world. It is eternal, rooted in the very essence of God's love for us. In the thick of our struggles, it's easy to lose sight of this truth. We become so absorbed in our immediate pain, in the heartbreak and disappointment that life sometimes deals us, that we start to believe the lie that our circumstances are immovable. We convince ourselves that things will never change, that we are destined to remain shackled to our suffering. Whether it's the burden of debt that feels like a mountain we can never climb, the weight of a chronic illness that drains the life out of us, or the crushing loneliness that makes the world feel so cold and empty. These struggles, these challenges have a way of deceiving us, of making us believe that they define us. But in those moments of darkness, we must remember a profound truth. We serve a supernatural God, a God who operates beyond the limits of human understanding, a God who is not bound by the constraints of this world. He is a God who specializes in the impossible. He sees what we cannot see, and He is working in ways we cannot fathom. The troubles that loom so large in our eyes are but temporary in His plan. God is telling us that this season of hardship, this valley of tears we are walking through, is not our final destination. It is a chapter in our story, yes, but it is not the whole story. Soon, yes, soon, this chapter of suffering will come to an end, and a new chapter will begin, one filled with victory, healing, and restoration. The health that seems to elude you now will be restored. The financial burdens that feel suffocating will be lifted. The desires of your heart, the ones you've held on to so tightly and prayed over so fervently, will come to pass in God's perfect timing. But here's the challenge. Our human minds often falter. Our reasoning, clouded by fear and doubt, whispers that these outcomes are impossible. We look at our circumstances and see no way out. But faith in God invites us to look beyond what is possible in the natural world. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It calls us to trust in God's limitless power, to believe that He can do what we cannot even begin to imagine. Our God is a God who makes a way where there is no way, and who turns the seemingly impossible into reality. So, as we face our struggles, let us hold on to this truth. These hardships are temporary. They are not meant to break us. They are preparing us for the eternal joy that awaits us in God's divine plan. As we walk through life, It is easy, so easy, to become ensnared by negative thoughts, to let our minds dwell on all the reasons why things won't work out, why the obstacles in front of us are too great, and how long it might take for things to change. It's a natural human reaction. We've been conditioned to expect delays, to think that healing, financial freedom, or relationship restoration are far-off dreams, distant and unreachable. But God calls us to something different. He calls us to embrace a new mindset, a mindset of hope and expectancy, a mindset that sees past the problems of today and looks forward to the promises of tomorrow. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Imagine starting each day with a heart full of gratitude, saying, "Father, I thank you that this hardship is only temporary. Thank you that you are already working to resolve this illness, this depression, these family struggles." When you begin to speak words of faith, you invite God's supernatural power into your situation. It may feel like you've been enduring this storm for far too long, but often, the darkest hour comes just before the dawn. It is in the moments when we feel like giving up that we are often on the brink of a breakthrough. You may feel like you've been fighting this battle for ages, but you are closer to victory than you realize. You stand at the edge of transformation, on the cusp of something miraculous. Freedom is not a distant dream. It is within your reach. Promotions, problem-solving miracles, and the realization of your long-held dreams are not far off. They are imminent. Change is coming, and it's coming soon. Your child, whom you've been praying for and worrying over, will find their way soon. New opportunities that you never saw coming will arise soon. The right person, the one you've been waiting for, will come into your life at just the right moment. You will step into a season of abundance and blessing, a season where all the struggles you've endured will make sense, and you will see how God was working behind the scenes the whole time. To walk in alignment with God is to embrace this soon mentality. It's to believe that God's promises are not far off, but are right around the corner, ready to manifest in your life. When we get stuck in a mindset of doubt and delay, when we expect that things will take forever, we inadvertently hinder the work God wants to do in our lives. But when we wake up each morning with a heart full of hope, with the belief that today could be the day God's miracle shows up, we position ourselves to receive His blessings. Perhaps you've been struggling with your health for what feels like an eternity. The doctor's reports are discouraging, and it seems like there's no way forward. But here's another report for you. Soon your health will turn around. God, the ultimate healer, is at work, and soon you will see the results. Maybe your financial situation feels hopeless. The debt is piling up, and there's no end in sight. You've convinced yourself that you'll be stuck in this financial rut forever. But what if you dared to believe in a sudden shift? What if you trusted that God could turn your situation around in an instant? Soon, you will break free from that debt. Soon, you will transition from borrower to lender, from struggling to thriving. How is this possible? You might wonder, how could something so big change so quickly? The answer is simple. God owns everything. He holds the universe in His hands, and He is more than able to extend His favor to you. It only takes one divine moment, one open door, one inspired idea, and one unexpected contract to completely revolutionize your life. The impossible is where God shines. He is the master of turning the impossible into the possible. So, as you navigate your current challenges, don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Your struggles are temporary, but the joy and victory that God has in store for you are eternal. Trust in His timing, trust in His power, and know that your breakthrough is not far off. It's coming soon. When will you conquer that addiction that's been gripping you for so long? Soon. When will the right person, the one your heart has been longing for, finally step into your life? Soon. When will that legal issue that's kept you awake at night be resolved? Soon. When will you sell that property you've been struggling with for years? Soon. When will you launch that dream business, the one that's been brewing in your mind but feels just out of reach? Soon. Doubts will persist. They always do. They'll whisper in your ear, telling you that the challenge is too great, that the opposition is too strong, and that this is just how things are meant to be. They'll try to convince you that things have been this way for too long and nothing will ever change. But these doubts are lies. Do not succumb to them. Embrace the truth that God has planted deep within your heart. This problem, no matter how large or overwhelming it may seem, is on its way out. Soon, the loneliness that's been weighing you down will be a distant memory. Soon, the anxiety that has paralyzed you will be lifted. Soon, the grief that feels unbearable will turn into peace. Soon, the infertility that has caused you so much pain will give way to new life. The struggle to conceive will not last forever, because the author of life is writing a new chapter for you. These struggles, these storms that seem endless, are temporary. They won't last much longer. God's timing is perfect, and He has already set in motion a plan to bring you through this. His plans for you are filled with hope, a future brighter than you can imagine. As Catholics, we are called to walk by faith, not by sight. Our trust in God is the anchor that holds us steady, even in the midst of life's fiercest storms. We are not meant to rely on what we see with our physical eyes, because God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating miracles that our human senses cannot yet perceive. Think about the saints who came before us. Their lives were not easy, filled with immense trials, suffering, and sometimes even death. But their unwavering faith, their absolute trust in God, saw them through every hardship. They emerged victorious, not because they were without pain, but because they believed in God's promises. They knew that what He had spoken would come to pass, even when everything around them seemed to say otherwise. Their lives stand as powerful testimonies that God's promises are always fulfilled. Every time, without fail. He has never once let His people down, and He is not about to start now. So, lift your eyes to the heavens. Adopt this soon mentality. Let it take root in your heart and transform the way you think, speak, and pray. Don't let fear or doubt steal the joy that comes from trusting in God's promises. Instead, let your prayers be filled with thanksgiving for the blessings that are already on their way. Every morning, rise with the expectation that today could be the day. Today could be the day that God reveals His power in your life. The day that the breakthrough you've been waiting for finally arrives. When you wake up with this mindset, you're not just hoping for a miracle, you're expecting it. And that expectation is a powerful force. It opens the door for God to move in ways you never thought possible. You'll start to see His hand in even the smallest details of your life. You'll begin to realize that He has been working all along, preparing the way for your blessing, even when you couldn't see it. Your transformation is at hand. It's not a distant dream, it's right around the corner. Soon, you'll look back and marvel at how far you've come, how God's grace carried you through the darkest valleys and brought you into a season of joy and abundance that you never thought possible. Soon, you will witness the miracles you've been praying for. The dreams you've held on to so tightly will finally come to fruition. Remember, God's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't align with ours. He knows exactly what we need, and when we need it. His grace is sufficient for you, even in the waiting. He is preparing you for something greater, something beyond your wildest dreams. Trust in His timing, trust in His process, and rest in the knowledge that soon everything will fall into place. So today, choose to walk in faith. Choose to believe that your victory is near, that your struggles are temporary, and that God is about to usher you into a new season of joy, peace, and abundance. Let your heart be filled with gratitude for the blessings that are on their way. Soon, you will see the fulfillment of God's promises in your life, and it will be more glorious than you ever imagined. Keep the faith, for your soon is just around the corner. In the life of Job, we encounter one of the most profound examples of unwavering faith amidst unimaginable suffering. Job, a man described in the scriptures as righteous, blameless, and deeply devoted to God, suddenly found himself plunged into a cascade of devastating events. In the blink of an eye, his life was turned upside down. Despite his faithfulness, despite his honor towards God, everything around him crumbled. His livelihood, his wealth, livestock, and all that he had worked so hard to build was wiped away. He suffered the heart-wrenching loss of his beloved children, and as if that weren't enough, his own body was afflicted with painful sores, leaving him physically broken. This narrative is a stark reminder that being faithful does not exempt us from the storms of life. Job's story reveals a universal truth. Suffering does not discriminate. As Scripture reminds us, the rain falls on both the just and the unjust. When a storm hits, it drenches every house in its path, showing no favoritism. This indiscriminate nature of life's challenges can be deeply disheartening. It can make us question why good people suffer and why faithfulness to God doesn't shield us from hardship. But it's crucial to understand that difficulties are part of our earthly journey. We live in a broken world where pain and suffering touch everyone, regardless of their goodness. However, the promise of our faith is not that we will live a life free from problems, but that these problems are transient. They will not last forever. The storms may rage, but they are not eternal. Job's trials, as crushing as they were, serve as a mirror for the struggles we face today. When sickness strikes, when colleagues betray us, when we face financial ruin, or when personal relationships crumble, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Worry, fear, and anxiety can quickly cloud our minds, leading us to believe that the darkness will never lift. But in those moments, we must hold on to the powerful truth that these trials are temporary. The hardship you're enduring now is not your final destination. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Throughout our day, in moments of quiet reflection or desperate prayer, we should carry these words in our hearts. Father, thank you for the assurance that this problem is only temporary. Thank you that this pain, this illness, this financial burden, this brokenness didn't come to stay. It came to pass. This prayer shifts our perspective from fear to faith, from defeat to hope. Job's story teaches us an essential lesson about perspective. As he surveyed his life, seeing only loss and suffering, he understandably sank in a deep despair. He sat among the ashes, longing for death, believing that his suffering was endless. His hopelessness came from the belief that his pain had no end, that his current reality was all there was. This is a dangerous mindset, one that can easily overwhelm any of us if we lose sight of the truth. The enemy of our soul wants us to believe that our struggles are permanent, that the weight of our suffering is too much to bear, and that there is no light at the end of the tunnel. But this is a lie. When we give in to this belief, we risk losing our joy, our peace, and our passion for life. But our faith, rooted in God's eternal promises, tells a different story. It tells us that God will not allow us to endure any challenge that we cannot overcome with His help. If the struggle were too much for you to bear, God would not have allowed it in your life. These moments of hardship are not meant to break you. They are tests of your faith, opportunities for you to reaffirm your trust in God's sovereign plan. When faced with seemingly insurmountable odds, we stand at a crossroads. We can either allow ourselves to be defeated, giving up on our dreams and resigning ourselves to a life of suffering, or we can stand firm in our faith, trusting that God is greater than any obstacle before us. He sees the end from the beginning, and He knows exactly how and when to bring us through our trials. We must hold fast to the belief that God is sovereign, that no hardship is too great for Him, and that He will bring us through every storm stronger than before. Every trial is an opportunity to deepen our faith and anchor our souls in the promises of God. As Catholics, we are called to look beyond the present difficulties and fix our eyes on the eternal promises of God. The trials we face are not meant to destroy us. They are designed to strengthen us, to build our faith, and to prepare us for the greater things God has in store. So when you find yourself in the depths of despair, when life seems unbearably hard, remember Job. Remember that even in his darkest hour, his story did not end in suffering. It ended in restoration, blessing, and a deeper relationship with God. Let Job's story remind you that no matter how deep your pain, no matter how hopeless your situation may seem, God's love and grace are steadfast. He is guiding you through every storm, leading you toward a new dawn. The outcome of your story, like Job's, will be one of triumph if you remain steadfast in your faith. Your beliefs in these tough times will determine your outcome. Like Job, who rose from the ashes and declared, "I know that my Redeemer lives." You too must shift your mindset from despair to faith. It's normal to feel down, to feel defeated, but don't stay there. Declare with conviction, "I know God is with me. I know this problem is not permanent." This mindset disarms the enemy, especially when you're hit the hardest. Rather than complain or succumb to fear, declare boldly, "Change is coming soon. I will recover. I will find new opportunities, and I will succeed." Job's troubles felt endless, but they lasted only a season. God not only restored what Job had lost, but He gave him double what he had before. Your struggles, too, will end sooner than you think, and God's restoration will surpass anything you've lost. The real battle is in your thoughts. Don't let the lies of permanence take root. Stand firm in your faith and thank God in advance for the quick resolution of your troubles. Like Job, your deliverance will come swiftly. God is fighting for you, opening doors you thought were closed, restoring what was lost, and bringing you into a season of double blessing. Embrace a soon mentality. Although some things take time, God promises swift deliverance. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. 2 Corinthians 4 verses 17 to 18. Keep your eyes fixed on the eternal and trust that God is working in ways beyond your comprehension. Your victory is nearer than you think. The Book of Job, with its 42 chapters chronicling his heart-wrenching trials, can sometimes feel like a testament to unending suffering. Job, a man of deep faith and integrity, endured loss after loss, his wealth, his children, his health, all stripped away in a whirlwind of calamities. His pain was immense, his anguish palpable, and it's easy to focus on the weight of his suffering as though it were endless. But it's essential to remember how Job's story ends. After enduring months of unimaginable hardship, Job lived another 140 years. He not only recovered but flourished, witnessing the births of his children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren for 4 generations. He passed away, full of days, having lived a long and fulfilling life. The story of Job serves as a powerful reminder that our present sufferings are not the entirety of our story. As Romans 8 verse 18 says, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. And Psalm 30 verse 5 reminds us, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Job's trials lasted roughly 9 months, a fleeting season compared to the 140 years of joy, health, and restoration that followed. God used Job's suffering to demonstrate that no trial, no matter how intense, is permanent. The pain of today does not define the joy that lies ahead. Your current struggles, no matter how overwhelming they may feel, will not end your story. There is an after this waiting for you. After this challenge, after this illness, after this heartbreak, new joys and opportunities will emerge. Don't be discouraged by temporary setbacks. Life's turbulence, those unexpected challenges, betrayals, illnesses, are just brief moments in the larger story God is writing for you. It may feel permanent when you're in the thick of it, but remember, God is in control. He is the pilot of your life, and He is more than capable of calming the storms you face. The turbulence you're experiencing is temporary. Soon, you will step into the joy, peace, and abundance that God has already prepared for you. What was meant for harm, God will turn for your good. He is working behind the scenes, resolving your problems, opening new doors, and bringing you into a place of favor. Your future is brighter than your past. A dear friend of mine recently faced the loss of his job, a position he had dedicated years to. The layoff wasn't due to his performance, but to the company's financial constraints. As you can imagine, the news hit hard, and he felt the creeping fear that so often accompanies unexpected change. Panic, uncertainty, and discouragement quickly began to cloud his heart. But I shared with him what I now share with you. This moment is not the conclusion of your story. This trial is not the final chapter. The challenges you are facing are transient, and God's grace is already lighting the path ahead. His plan is already in motion, even if you can't see it yet. There is a new opportunity tailor-made for you that God is preparing. So, don't allow temporary setbacks to cloud your vision. Maintain your faith and continue giving your best, even when it feels like the odds are against you. Soon, you will step into a new path, and when you look back, you'll be able to say with confidence, after the layoff, I found a better position. After that person left my life, I met someone better. After the illness, I emerged stronger than ever before. The anxiety that keeps you up at night, the worries about how things will work out, the constant mental juggling of all the problems you think you need to solve on your own. Release them. Surrender them to God. This situation is temporary. You're not alone in this. God is guiding you. Even when you can't see the path clearly, trust that He is in control. There is no illness, no heartbreak, no job loss or financial crisis greater than the God we serve. He is orchestrating every detail of your life, weaving together a plan far greater than you can imagine. You may not see it yet, but your breakthrough is closer than you think. The struggles you are facing today are preparing you for the blessings that lie ahead. Just like Job, your suffering is not without purpose, and it is not permanent. After his months of agony, Job received double for his trouble. His health was restored, his wealth multiplied, and his relationships mended. God used Job's story to show us that no trial, no matter how dark or overwhelming, lasts forever. Soon, the chapter of hardship you're walking through will close, and a new season of joy, peace, and favor will begin. God's plans for you are filled with hope and a future. So lift your eyes and adopt a soon mentality. Every day, Rise with the expectation that today could be the day God's breakthrough shows up in your life. Expect change. Expect healing. Expect restoration. God is a master of turning things around in an instant. Trust that the path ahead is brighter than you can imagine. The doors that are closing today are making room for new opportunities, better than you ever thought possible. The relationships that are ending now are paving the way for deeper, more meaningful connections in the future. And the pain you're feeling will soon give way to peace. Your breakthrough is imminent, and God's grace is about to lead you into a season of blessing beyond what you've prayed for. Keep the faith, because your after this is coming sooner than you think. Reflecting on the story of Noah in the book of Genesis, we are reminded of a profound lesson in faith, patience, and God's unwavering faithfulness. God warned Noah of a flood, a catastrophic event that was unimaginable to the people of his time. He instructed Noah to build an ark, a massive vessel, and gather pairs of every living creature. To the onlookers, Noah's obedience must have seemed utterly foolish. There had never been rain before. The earth had always been watered by dew rising from the ground. The concept of rain, let alone a flood of such magnitude, was beyond anyone's comprehension. Imagine how outlandish this must have seemed, building a colossal boat on dry land, day after day, while people likely mocked and ridiculed him, calling him mad. Yet, despite the criticism and the seeming absurdity of the task, Noah obeyed God without hesitation or question. Then the rain came. It poured for 40 days and 40 nights, and the earth was engulfed in water. The unimaginable had become reality. Noah, his family, and the animals remained safe inside the ark. But what must they have felt as the days stretched into weeks and months? The waters didn't recede immediately. They had no idea how long they would remain in this isolated, floating world. Every day must have felt like an eternity, with no clear indication of when or if life would return to normal. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Noah, in his faith, sent out a bird to check for dry land. But the bird came back with nothing, unable to find a place to rest. It must have felt like an unending cycle, a stagnant situation with no visible sign of change. But then, in Genesis chapter 8, it is written that God remembered Noah. God sent a wind to blow over the waters, and the flood began to recede. This moment is profound. It wasn't that God had forgotten Noah or his family during the flood, but the phrase, God remembered Noah, signifies that the time of waiting, the time of uncertainty, was coming to an end. Just as God remembered Noah, He remembers your faithfulness, your patience, and your obedience. He sees the sacrifices you've made, the times you've continued to give, serve, and show kindness, even when no change was visible in your situation. Just as God sent a wind to blow over the floodwaters, He is about to move in your life. Your time is coming. The problems that seem permanent, the struggles that appear to have no end, God is about to cause them to vanish. That illness that has weighed on you, the constant worry about your child, the work issue that feels insurmountable, these are all on the verge of dissipating, just like the floodwaters. The Spirit of God is moving, and the winds of His favor, His blessings, and His healing are about to blow into your life. In Genesis, after the winds blew and the rain stopped, we learn that the underground water sources, which had contributed to the flood, ceased. This detail is significant. There are often hidden issues in our lives, roots of problems that we may not even be aware of that contribute to our struggles. Just as God stopped the hidden springs of water beneath the earth, He is about to cut off the root of what has been holding you back. Whether it's an addiction, a deep-seated fear, depression, or financial lack, God is at work beneath the surface, addressing the source of your pain and struggle. These issues are on the verge of ending. Even after the rain stopped and the waters began to recede, Noah and his family still had to wait. They stayed inside the ark for months, even after the floodwaters had ceased. This is a crucial part of the story, reminding us that change doesn't always happen overnight. You may not see immediate results, even after God has begun to move in your situation. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. God is always at work, orchestrating things behind the scenes in ways that you cannot see. The waters were receding, even though Noah and his family couldn't yet step out into the new world. Similarly, God is working in your life right now, though the full manifestation of his work may not be visible yet. But rest assured, it is happening. You must maintain the right perspective. Your problem is temporary. It may feel as though it's been going on forever, but it is not permanent. This season of difficulty, this flood in your life, will pass. God is orchestrating your relief. He is bringing you through this, and soon you will see the change that you have been waiting for. Live with the mentality that relief is near. Even when you can't see how or when it will happen, trust that it will. Just as Noah's family eventually stepped out of the ark into a new, restored world, you too will step out of this season of trial into a season of peace, joy, and restoration. Your situation will not last as long as it seems. Soon, things will turn in your favor. Soon, the waters will recede, and you will step into the blessings that God has prepared for you. Keep your faith strong, because just as God remembered Noah, he has remembered you, and your breakthrough is on its way. As we reflect on the stories of Job and Noah, we are reminded that no matter how overwhelming our challenges may seem, they are never permanent. God is always working behind the scenes, turning things around in ways we cannot yet see. Just like Job and Noah, we too can trust in God's perfect timing and unwavering faithfulness. Now that we've journeyed through these powerful examples of faith, endurance, and divine intervention, what have you learned from these stories? Has something from Job's perseverance or Noah's obedience resonated with you? Take a moment to reflect and comment below on one thing you've learned, and we'll bring into practice in your own life. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content. Together, we'll continue to grow in faith and trust in God's incredible plan for our lives.